Welcome to the video. In this video, I want to talk about the amps that I choose in Escalation, and I want to explain them, and as a heads up, this video is going to sound pretty similar to my last amp video. So, yeah, it's a bit different, but it's also a lot of, it's really the same thing, kind of, just a little bit different. But to get started, I'm gonna like speed run through these amp descriptions and pick the ones that I would pick as I'm moving forward. And also, if you guys are just starting Escalation, you're not going to have as many talent points as I am. Talent points are earned by getting XP in Escalation, and to explain that real quick, doing the 10 through 50 Escalation gives you around 2,000 experience each time, so if you can do the whole thing, it's really helpful. But to get started with the speed run of the amps, you got squad goals. This is good if your teammates also pick the amp. It's only useful if you pick it and also your teammates pick it. So if you're communicating, it can be good. If you're not communicating, it can kind of suck. But in my case, I get it a lot. I get this amp a lot, so I'm gonna pick it. I'm gonna put 2 in it actually, because my other options are not the bestest. You know, they're not the coolest thing since sliced bread. Sliced bread. If I could talk, it'd be amazing. But you got Torrent Shield. This activates on your Lantern Ohdough cast, gives you shield for 15 seconds. Very useful. But if you have Iceborne, not that necessary. You don't really need this. So, yeah. Next option is going to be Executioner. You get more damage if a behemoth is at half-life. The annoying part is you have to get them to half-life first. So you're already doing half their health, and then you get a bonus. It's not the best thing, and like that's the way I view it, right? Like, if it was different, it'd be better to me, but in this case, I'm not the biggest fan. It is useful, because just like sometimes your other options aren't the best, but in this case, I would go with Torrent Shield. And then my very next unlock is going to be a Duel's Precision unlock. And this gives you steady crit chance for overtime. So you can build up to 100% crit chance, making your next attack a guaranteed crit. But it's not good. It's not good for pretty much any weapon at all because it's just not that useful. Like over time, you get like 2 crit chance a second, I think. But you could get other amps that give you a 30% crit chance, 15% crit chance for like for a long duration. Rather than like this, oh, you can get up to 100% crit chance, but it's like very minuscule to build up to that. It takes a while to build up to that like really big crit. So I'm not really a big fan of this. If you like it, play it, go ham. Next option is Minder's Gift. This is where if you use the Aether Vent, or if you clean the crack in the arena per se, you can heal your teammates as well as yourself. This is good if your teammates want you to use this. In my case, sometimes I'm playing a low life build, but I don't have Discipline. Discipline is a cell that will keep you from going past half-life, and half-life is used to activate some really good cells like Rage, Wild Frenzy. Very helpful for that. So in those cases, when my teammates have this, it kind of bodies me, and it's kind of a monk of W. So it depends on if your teammates want you to have this or not, and that determines the usefulness. So in my case, I would go for the next option, which is Breath of Life, and this gives you lifesteal if you get hit. So it's basically like Iceborne, pretty much exactly, except you don't get damage reduction, and there's a window to use it. And I would take this a lot. If you don't have Iceborne, then I would take this amp for sure also, just as a heads up. And now, as you can see, we're kind of like blocked from going forward, so we have to spend amp somewhere else as well. And in my case, I still don't want to do this, but this one I can spend one more to unlock the next area. And at the very top, we have Paragon's Blessing. This is where you get damage for dodging to an attack. And this is very, very good on Twin Suns, which I'll be making a video for because Twin Suns can be really fun in Escalation. It can be twin funds. That sounds stupid. They can be really fun in Escalation, and this is a really good amp for them because your dash actually activates this ability if you do it correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that up. And then my next option is Thrill the Hunt. This is where you get more damage each time a behemoth is defeated. So this is very useful. It's basically the most effective amp in the entire game if you get it on the very first hunt or after the very first round in Escalation. It's like the best. If you get it later on, it's still really good, and actually it still has value even if you get it on, let's say, like the third round going into the fourth. It still has value. So I would upgrade this if I was you, because if you get this at the very start, it's 50% damage when you're fighting Malkarion. It builds up to that much, so very useful. You got Bonds of Conflict. This doesn't even work right now. It'll get fixed eventually, but right now you can't even get this, so I just wouldn't take it. Although if you did, you could use it to like unlock more. Like you could like put one in here to like further your amp unlocks over here. But this gives you crit chance for enraged behemoths. For each enraged behemoth, you get 20% crit chance, and then for Aether Charge behemoths, you get more lantern generation. It's not that good, personally. Like it can be good, but I like my other options more. They're more interactive for me, and they occur more often. Like having to get an enrage on some weapons, you're missing a lot of damage already. Like on Twin Suns, you're missing a lot of damage if you're going for the enrage, because you have to activate your mag bomb mode to get behemoths to enrage anyway. So moving forward, we got crit dominion. This is where you get more damage after you do a lot of crits to generate an aura. I do not like this on Twin Suns, although it's really easy to proc, and that's because on Twin Suns, you're not always next to the behemoth when you're playing them, so you can't really get benefit from this damage increase. So if you play differently, then it could work. But for me, I realized that I don't have the playstyle to make this work that great, because I'm always dashing through attacks. You go pretty far away from behemoths, and you want to activate your mag bomb mode when you're in a safe distance, because it takes forever to activate. So this is pretty much a build for Twin Suns. If I'm playing a different weapon, I would take crit dominion. Like if I'm playing chain blades or sword and I have a lot of crit chance, very strong in that kind of sense. So in those situations, I would take it. My next amp choice is the best amp choice that I would pick for a crit build, because by the way, if you guys haven't realized, this sort of escalation is for crits. And in the next season of Escalation, not sure what's going to be, I'm hoping that the amp sheet changes. And I'm also hoping that modifiers change in Escalation and the behemoth changes as well. That's my big hope for Escalation. So in this case, it's like a crit theme, and it's also a thunder theme. That's like the season. It's like it's Storm Chasers. It's like the season, kinda. But anyway, next amp is an unlock, and this is for Violent Impact. This is where your crits deal 75% damage to all behemoths. Like if you crit, it does an extra 75% damage to all behemoths. This includes, if like you're just fighting one behemoth, this includes that behemoth. So if you're playing Twin Suns, which can get like up to what, 65% crit chance, which just cells and like reloading, getting a powered reload, you can do some damage, bro. It's a lot of fun. And this is like one of the coolest amps in the entire game, because it has such a cool effect of like these invisible daggers hitting the freaking behemoths. It's awesome. And I want to do a run where I get this and I get Throw the Hunt like really early on. That's what I want to do. But I'm going to take it because it's very good for what I'm doing, which I'm pretty much only playing crit builds since they're so strong right now in Escalation. And then my next options is a multi-amp upgrade for Malkarian Spite. This is for the amps where if you dodge an attack or if you activate your Lantern instant cast, you get 15% crit chance and 15% movement speed for a couple seconds. It's really good in that kind of sense, especially if I'm going for crits. If I'm trying to get crits anyway, it's really helpful in that kind of sense. And then you have the Eidolon amps. These suck. Like, flat out, these are not good. I don't care if you like them. These are actually not good. If you want to play them, though, that's completely okay. But do not try and tell me they're good, because you will be tested for drugs. Because they just ain't. Now, moving forward. Next one is the Pack Tactics. This is good if you're playing a weapon that can actually interrupt, or if you're on a team and your teammates are interrupting really well. Because it doesn't have to be you that gets the interrupt, it just has to be your teammate. Now, if you're playing Repeaters or Twin Suns, I wouldn't take it because you cannot interrupt that often. So you'd be wasting a lot of time to use it. And I guess if you have the mind for Repeaters, you could do it. So there's an exception. If you're on Twin Suns, though, don't take it. Anyway. Next one is Full Throttle. This is like one of the best amps you can get in like the later rounds. Like if you're on round 4, going into round 5 to fight Malkarion, and you get this amp, it is super good. And it can still be useful if you're fighting early on and your other options are just awful. Like let's say you get like only survival options and this amp in like a selection. This can be better than those other options if you don't need them for survival. Like let's say you have Iceborne. You can just pick this instead and get that round done faster. So I'm gonna take it, obviously. And as a heads up, if you're playing Twin Suns, I wouldn't suggest unlocking anything else because it's not really necessary. But if you're playing other weapons, then it might be wise to go further. And to do that, you have to spend points earlier on. So in my case, I'll just put amps into Minder's Gift, whatever. I don't want to unlock anything that I'm not going to use because it takes up space. So in this case, I'm going to pick an amp upgrade that isn't unlocking anything new. It's just boosting something I can already get. So doing that, I unlock the future ones, and you have Pretty much like Lucio dropping the beat when your teammate dies, which is Hero's Call. You give shields to your teammates once you give shields to your remaining teammates once other people die, and also move speed for 12 seconds. And then you get Locus of Power. This is very useful if you're playing the axe, in some cases playing the chain blades and sword. And like other things too, but mostly those weapons because they don't move too much when you're casting certain attacks. But for Twin Suns, which is what I make a video for, this is not the best. And then you have Thunderous Mantle. You get stamina, or you get your attacks don't cost, or your sprinting costs no stamina, and you also move faster. Your next attack after sprinting for 3 seconds deals 1,000 damage. This is a lot of fun. This is a lot of fun, but it's not very useful. And after using it a couple times, it kind of wears off in the fun factor. But if you haven't tried it, I would try it. It's neat. It's cool. So there's that. But if you guys are playing a weapon that's not Twin Suns and you want to, pick better amps than I am, in my case, I'm picking amps for Twin Suns. So if you're not playing Twin Suns, I would suggest taking up Locus of Power as well, like checking this, and then Pack Tactics and Critical Dominion. Because if you have crit chance, Dominion's really good. If your teammates or yourself can interrupt, Tactics is really good. And if you're playing a weapon that's not Twin Suns, then Locus of Power is also pretty good. And that is my amps that I choose for Escalation. Hopefully it makes sense and everybody is happy, jolly, and they understand what's going on. And I just wanted to pick this and to explain my choices a bit more, because you can check every single box if you're at 25 talents. Like, you can totally do that. I just don't, because I do not want to have amp unlocks in my selection for other amps if I'm not going to use them. Like, that's my philosophy. If I'm not going to use the amp, I don't want to somehow get it in Escalation if I can help it. And in this case, you can. Just don't unlock them. That's the whole reason I want to make this video, to explain, to further explain, and to be really certain in saying that, there are amps that I think are really good and amps I don't think are good after playing Escalation for a while. But that is the video. That's my explanation. Hopefully you guys liked it. And if you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe. All those things help the channel. And if you want to support the channel even more, if you use my Epic Games Supercard code in the Epic Games Store or in the in-game Dauntless store, it helps out a ton. It really does. And also, I do stream on Twitch. I'm playing a lot of Dauntless right now. I do want to play some other games though. I want to expand past that. Like, I want to keep making YouTube content, but I want to sort of expand my my Twitch streaming stuff to like more games. So, if you guys like live streams and you checked it out, I'd be very grateful. But y'all, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.